sometimes, not always, it's quite easily to become insulated, especially if you're an older guy. Be insulated or insular with your relationships by spending more time with your partner and your partner's friends and your partner's family. You know, or even if you go off traveling or move away, you find yourself having less friends around and hard to get back those connections that you used to have with those people that you trusted and that supported you. So in one way, yes, it's good to be independent, especially for your own validation and to be reflected and focused and less distracted in general. But when you find yourself single again and you want to find how to rebuild those bridges and make new friendships, you kind of forget how to do it, what to do, and, you know, be more than just an acquaintance. So I got some thoughts and some tips that might help you that I've had to think about on my journey. So one way I look at it is more about perspective and reframing a situation. So I don't go out looking per se for friendships. I think more about alliances. You know, potentially in the future, I don't know how, but potentially this person could help me out. All right. And I think that's a lot of men's view on life. There's no point in making an enemy because you don't want to be looking over your shoulder, or you don't want to bump into that person at an unopportune time. You know, you don't want to be in a vulnerable situation and bumping into that enemy. So it's much better to have the view of making alliances and connections with people. So that's the first thing, changing my framing of it all. All right. And these points are to bear in mind. So the first part I got here is about perspective. And so I've got a few points. One of the first points is you're not going to like everybody. That's just fine. You're not going to gel with everybody. And those people that you do meet, those acquaintances, you're not going to like everything about them. That's, for me in the past, I've often been like, oh my goodness, this guy's an idiot. He's doing this, and this. And it's hard to look past that if there's only one or two things that you find distracting about this individual, or that you feel you don't connect with about that individual. So trying to put aside your annoyances, because you might find that it's actually transference. You might find the thing that they do that irritates you is actually not them. It might be something you've got going on with your history and your background. So just bear that in mind when you make an acquaintance, but you don't hit it off immediately. Another aspect is not necessarily being vulnerable, but give first. Often we connect with people much stronger, much better when we're sharing, whether it's lending your lawnmower to your neighbour that's just moved in, or whether you're offering to lend a ladder, or even if you're just offering to help out. If you go first, that builds a connection and kind of a bit of reciprocation at some point, that they in their mind psychologically will feel like they may owe you a favour in return. Not always, but sometimes. And we're not doing it for manipulative purposes, but it's nice to give out your energy, your time, or lend out your belongings, just to make that olive branch of going first. Okay. Remember and make an effort. When you have an opportunity, like somebody's birthday or somebody's moving house, make the effort to continue to prop up that bridge. And it's quite easy to do. You just got to give up a little bit of time, give up a little bit of energy. It's not difficult. All right. And then it comes back to like quid pro quo. Not strictly transactional, All right, we're not doing this for manipulative reasons or I'm going to give you something, you got to give me something, and back and forth. It's not always about that. You know, you can have one or two in the bag, or you can just be a little bit more generous than somebody else because you don't know what's happening in their lives. So a little bit of quid pro quo. Another one would be an unlikely confidant. So I've now opened up my eyes a little bit more, and I have a couple more acquaintances that I wouldn't usually of confided in and connected with. I mean, there's nothing in it for me to be connected with this person, apart from the fact that it's like a little bit of therapy. I can express to myself to that person and not have to worry about too much judgment. And likewise, we can help one another out in that respect. So yeah, an unlikely confidant. You might find one at the bus stop. You might find one at the doctor's surgery. You never know where, you know, maybe even at the garage. An unlikely confidant can, once you build up some trust, can be really, really helpful for making some of those decisions where you just want to bounce some ideas off. You know, make sure you're not going crazy, you know. What about this? What about that? Is that okay? And get a little bit of feedback. It's well worth it. It doesn't cost a lot. Ask yourself, how many people do you know? Because it doesn't take much of a tenuous link to somebody that you can build a conversation and possibly help somebody. Like I said, giving it that olive branch. If you go through your phone and through your Facebook and find those people that are nearby, because you're much more likely to build stronger bonds with people that are nearby, and you might be able to offer some help out there. Maybe if you just put on Facebook, you know, to your friends that you're available for the weekend if anybody wants their grass cutting or if anybody needs any help. You know, it's really quite simple to build up those connections. But we'll get onto the charity bit in a moment. So like I'm saying as well, like grease the wheels. That's what I used to call it, greasing the wheels. It didn't matter whether you're giving out some compliments to a stranger or whether you're buying some chips for the mechanic. That's something I used to do for one of my friends. He said, look, you know, you're more than just a customer, you're a friend, because, you know, when you come to me and you ask me for some help and, you know, I'll give him an honest answer. He says, you bring some chips or you get me a pasty. You make it easier to like you and to help you because you do these little things. And that goes a long way. Just going across the road to get a Greg's for the mechanic can really cheer him up and make his day, and, you know, potentially connect and become friends. All right, so that's sort of one aspect. That's like part A. Part B would be then to be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. Now that's very cliche. People say that all the time. Oh yeah, you got to be yourself, be your true self, blah blah blah. But you gotta act as you'd like to be treated. You know, you got to be honest. And don't honest doesn't have to be immediate. So I heard a story where a guy went to a play and watched his friend at a play, and he hated it. He really thought it was pathetic and awful and all the rest of it. But when he saw his friend backstage and they asked how it went, that person said, well, I could see you were gleaming. You'd worked a long time for this. You were really happy and you really enjoyed it and you gave all your effort. I think, you know, I'm very proud of you. You've done really, really well. And then obviously that was backstage. There was what happening. And then the next day, the friend said, you know, I didn't want to burst your bubble and you were very happy and very high. But personally, I thought there was, if I was a critic, there was a few areas that I thought were needing a little bit of support. I can guess you can imagine the areas and things like that. And that way you're not bursting their bubble. You're not trying to deflate them. You know, you're being a friend and you're still being honest. You're still being authentic by saying that I could see you putting a lot of effort. I could see you were very happy and you're gleaming and, enjoying yourself and, and connecting with the audience. You can say all the positive things without having to rip them a new one, So that's another way of being honest. Okay. Also, another thing is you could become useful. If you've got skills as a trade, or you've got a trailer or a van, or even if you're just very good at giving advice, you can make yourself useful and become more available to potential friends. There's nobody more busy than a man with a van. That's what they say. All right, get involved. So there's always something going on at the scout hut, at the church hall. You can get involved. Even if it's just finding something you like, you can get involved. You can go to the animal shelter and walk a dog. There's always something you can do to get involved. The more you get involved, the more people see that you're a genuine, nice person, or you're genuine out to better mankind and better your community. Have fun. So this sounds a bit odd and a bit funny, but if you do the things that you like to do, like me, I like going out and I like walking up mountains or up hills, and you meet a lot of interesting people while you're doing it because they're focused on doing what they like and what they love as well. And I enjoy photography and now videography, and you meet people doing that as well. If I see somebody with a camera, I'll probably say something to them. Oh yeah, nice camera. Have you got this lens or that lens? What sort of photography are you taking? And so you can make connections by being authentic with your own hobbies and your own interests. And you're also more engaged with having fun and being relaxed, giving that balance, that work-life balance to being relaxed. Be opinionated with your opinions, all right? You don't need to be harsh. You don't need to be hurtful to people, but you can state your opinion and you can have opinions. Because if you don't have opinions, then how is anybody going to know where you stand? Are people going to think you're just wishy-washy? Oh, he's always on the fence. Oh, they just agree with whatever's going on. People that are strong-minded men in this world have opinions. Whether it's Jordan Peterson or whether it's Elon Musk or Richard Branson, that people have opinions, and that's okay. You can have an opinion that people don't agree with, but that's okay. It shows you take a stand and you're confident in who you are to be able to make that opinion. It goes along with making your own boundaries. Not everybody wants the same situation and the same thing, but if you make your own boundaries, then people can stick to it, and you can stick to it. It gives you a little bit more respect. Guilty by association. I'm on the screen now. Guilty by association. Sometimes it's really good to be connected with other groups and other people. So you're guilty of being a nice person by being with somebody that's doing something good, being connected or helping behind the scenes. It can also work the other way. If you're into something that's really out of trend at the moment, then maybe other people might not be so keen. But at least you have your opinions and people know who you are and what you stand for. Then the last one here really is just to let go quicker of those negative, crappy things that are holding you down. Those grudges, those bad people in your life. Letting go quicker of the crap that happens. Breathe and just let go. Move forward, move on. Because if you don't, you'll stay jaded and negative and angry. And people won't want to be around you. If you're constantly complaining and moaning, people are not going to want to be around you. That's why I said be fun. Do the things you like to do. Be opinionated. Have your boundaries. Once people can see who you are and they can respect that you're a man of your word and you're a man of your boundaries, then people can really respect that and enjoy that and know where they are with you. The worst thing is, and especially for children and for dogs, is not knowing where the boundaries are. They're not knowing who you are. Somebody that blows hot and cold is very difficult to trust and to connect with. All right, just the last couple now would be, I said, like, do what you love, but educate yourself as well. There's nothing more interesting than listening to somebody that knows more than you about a subject that you might be interested in. So whether you read or you watch YouTube or TV or documentaries and you learn about stuff, providing you're balanced with where you get your sources, you're going to have a lot more broader knowledge. Even if you just play Trivial Pursuits and you grow your general knowledge, it's going to be much more, you're going to be a much more interesting person at that party. You're going to have a much broader spectrum of conversations that you can have. You know, if you go up to somebody and you say, oh, what do you think about this? And I don't know, I don't really get that. Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, but what about this? Well, I don't know, I don't get involved with that. Oh, all right. Well, what about this? This is really important. This is connected to you and your family, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, oh, come on. This person has no backbone. This person has no opinions, no boundaries, no values. It's very hard to connect with somebody that doesn't have some knowledge of a topic that's contentious, that they can say, well, actually, I think this because of X, Y, and Z. But I'm open to listening to your perspective. Maybe you've got something different to say about it. There we go. That goes on further as well, like I said, about discussing hypotheses, listening to podcasts. You know, maybe you got a good friend at work and you're moving from small talk into something a bit bigger, you know, and you have a hypothesis, an unpopular opinion maybe, and that you share and that you grow with. You go, oh, I never thought of that. Yes. How odd. Yes. That would be really interesting. If you're able to make people think a little bit, whether about their lives or whether about the world, it really does help connect one another. The next one, random acts of kindness. Now, again, it's very easy to do, pretty straightforward, whether you buy some flowers for somebody, whether you pay something forward, whether you just offer to walk a neighbour's dog. Random acts of kindness really elevate you emotionally and chemically with the toxins within your body. I think it's serotonin. You know, tell me below if I'm wrong. But they elevate your mood status, like I said, with the chemicals in your body. Random acts of kindness. All right. So putting all those together, you've got do what you really enjoy doing, educate yourself, random acts of kindness, be honest, get involved with stuff, have some opinions, have some boundaries, let go quicker. Okay, it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot, but there we go. Anyway, in closing, if you live near people, there is ample opportunity to connect. Most of us live near some people. Just ask. I mean, some people are going to say no, and you got to get over this whole rejection thing, but keep asking acquaintances, making those human connections. It's all about attitude, all right? And it's okay if people say no, but it elevates you. Elevates you as an interesting, well-rounded, balanced person. Well-rounded, balanced man, if you will. All right, so bear those things in mind. Connect with people and don't prejudge, or try not to prejudge where this relationship could go. You don't know whether this old lady you're talking to has a granddaughter that's looking for a handyman. Or you don't know if the mechanic you've just bought a pasty for is selling a car for somebody else, and so he'll sell it to you at cost price if you're looking in the market for a car. There's only benefits from being a good person, well-rounded, balanced person. So just hold that in mind. You know, reframe your opinions and your attitudes to reflect that connecting more and deeper with acquaintances can only be beneficial in your life. So that's it. That's all I've got to say for today. If you've got any thoughts or comments or questions, Just put them down below. Oh, and also, there's so many of you that are not subscribing. It really, really would help me if you would subscribe. If you like the stuff. I mean, if you don't bother. You know, go click on somebody else's channel. But if you do like the stuff, please, please subscribe. It would help me a lot. You know, I don't do sponsors. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not making money at this. I'm not making anything right now. So it would help just to click that button. All right? I appreciate your help. If I don't speak to you before, have a happy Christmas. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now. Stay safe, stay well.